when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just wanna keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't wanna see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor, or the governor, and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do, okay y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws, they the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the third branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back, grocery store food better, custody of your kids back, homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters, me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the pros.
Every time you stay home, someone is making a decision about you, making decisions about the air you breathe, the water you drink, the food your kids eat, and how much money you bring home every 2 weeks. So every time you sit out an election, every time you don't show up because you think it doesn't matter, someone else is happy that you didn't show up, so they can make that decision for you. Vote.
Enough electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us. And that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012. I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can. And everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke. I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own. Ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name. I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a Ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just want to keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I
This episode of the Cab Grand Rising Show is brought to you by Autochthonous Assembly, where the real work gets done. For the first-time visitors who may be wondering who Autochthonous Assembly is, Autochthonous Assembly, or A2 for short, is a gathering of minds that do the work. A2 is a non-profit organization dedicated to raising up Indigenous Americans' voices by using genealogy, also known as family history or family tree. Genealogy is the study of families and the tracing of their lineages in history. Genealogists use oral interviews, historical records, genetic analysis, and other records to obtain information about a family and to demonstrate kinship and pedigrees of its members. Autochthonous Assembly's core values are the foundation of its company, essential to its success, and serves as the lens through which it evaluates every business decision. The core values are integrity, know and do what is right, respect, treating others the way you want to be treated, responsibility, embrace opportunities to contribute, servant leadership, serve the common good. Along with a key emphasis on genealogy, A2 is also committed to providing our communities with information and access to available grants and funding through the Department of Housing and Urban Development, the United States Department of Agriculture, the Farm Service Agency, and other departments and agencies that offer programs to help them become self-sufficient. Building on a strong community reputation, Autochthonous Assembly continues to strengthen the growth of the relationship and development of our communities. Peace and Grand Rising.
Warning, warning, warning. Hard hats, pickaxe, shovels, boots required.
Grand Rising, everyone. Grand Rising. Peace, 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 peace. Hope all is well this rising. Peace to all the chats. How the panel doing this rising?
Grand Rising, everyone.
Peace, peace, y'all.
I hope panel went back to sleep that quick.
Can't complain. Greetings and Grand Rising, everybody.
So how was everybody's long extended night?
Everybody pulled a Gabrielle. Slump dog millionaire.
Man.
I'm dreaming.
I think that's the earliest I ever laid it down. Real talk. I got up at 11:59 on the dot. I look in the room. I go in the other room. Everybody in the room knocked that. Hello? Hello?
Was that time? It's time, about that time, yeah. Time to go to sleep.
I know what. Next time when I be fighting sleep, trying to work through and need to lay down, I know where to go to listen. But you're right at better than I can. How you're like, I don't remember nothing. Really, nothing.
Listen, I blinked and it was like 1:30 in the morning, and I look up, I'm like, who else is on this call? This Gabby was on there and was comatose. So I was like, well, I'm gonna slide out this I'll just hang out real quick.
I'll make sure to be quiet not to wake you.
Yeah, for sure.
But other than that, I mean, it was good. Had some interesting conversations yesterday. Got a lot of things cleared up, and it's good to know that there's a lot of people that's in the community, that's not online, that's using information, setting up organizations to bring change to their communities. So it does show that there is a shift and that there are people that's taking responsibility for what they can do. So, I mean, and all in all, a lot of it might get aggravating, frustrating, tired of hearing, but in the end, it'll all be worth it.
It will. We talk a lot about the silent majority, and I think that gets understated because while this group, many of you that are with us, that tune in, that participate, that do good work in your communities, while you all are the clear majority, and most of the people that are on YouTube and whatever, have Facebook and so forth, a lot of people that are content creators are just that, content creators. You know, some of them personalities, and they do things, and some of them well-meaning people do things online, but the real work gets done out in the field. And many of you are out in the field doing things in your communities, making life better for our people, for your families, for your communities, for your tribes, and that shouldn't be understated.
Big facts.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, this morning, got two topics of information that's should be very, very important to the communities. And first up is, what is an unincorporated company? So I'm gonna grab the link and post it in the chats real quick. Give me like 15 seconds.
You want me to beatbox? Because I can.
All right, we had a link in the chat. If anyone ready, we can start.
Which?
The unincorporated
Gotcha.
company. It's in all three chats. And Cab Grand Rising Show chat.
Got you. I got it. Okay, my bad. Can you hear me?
And I got it on screen.
Okay. Unincorporated company, and this is upcouncil.com. Unincorporated company, everything you need to know. Unincorporated company describes a business that has not been legally registered as a business with the relevant state authorities. Unincorporated company describes a business that has not been legally registered as a business with the relevant state authorities. Unlike an incorporated business, which has an independent legal existence, unincorporated companies are not distinct from their owners. Incorporated versus unincorporated. A key difference between a registered business and an unincorporated business is that owners of an incorporated company enjoy liability protection. This means, for example, that your personal assets cannot be seized to cover a debt the company has incurred. Creditors have no power to target your assets to collect a payment because the company is responsible for its own financial affairs. On the other hand, if your unincorporated business defaults on a debt, you'll be personally liable to cover it. Similarly, if your unincorporated business is involved in a lawsuit, you can be held personally responsible for the cost. In the case of a registered business, only the company's assets can be used when settling a suit. Unincorporated businesses are typically sole proprietorships or partnerships. By contrast, an unincorporated business takes considerable time to run and is well suited
That's
to...
incorporated, that last one.
Oh, I'm sorry. By contrast, an unincorporated, I was still gonna mess it up.
You bound.
Man, an incorporated business takes considerable time to run and is well suited to larger businesses, including those with a significant number of employees. Cost of both business types. The first step in establishing an incorporated business is to file articles of incorporation, which requires the payment of a fee. The amount you'll have to pay varies from state to state. Additional costs you may incur as a registered business owner include annual fees.
Hold on 1 second. Just
Okay.
1 second. So far we can see the difference between incorporated and uncorporated. Basically, incorporated, you are protected because you and your company are two separate entities. Unincorporated, there is no separation. So whatever the business is liable for, you, the individual, is liable for as well.
So it
Right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one of the ways you can remember how these two are different. If you look at the word incorporated, you break the word down, corpus, right? Corporation, body. So if your business is incorporated, it is embodied. So it has a body of its own. and as such has a legal body of its own. So if it incurs a debt or if it defaults on the loan or something like that, that body, that corporation is what has to be accountable for it legally. So essentially the owners or the CEO or founders or whatever have you of said corporation that created it aren't personally liable because it has a body of its own. Where if it's unincorporated, it doesn't have a body of its own. So if there is a liability, you now incur it because you're the body of that business.
All facts.
You had something, Ms. Gavin?
Oh, no. I agree with you.
What you were saying.
No, that helps to lock it in with the sole proprietor part that they were talking about. So, and if I'm wrong in this understanding, definitely correct me. Sole proprietor, it's like I go out, I don't have to, if I don't establish a business, it's like me doing business. That's what an unincorporated is. An unincorporated equates to just me saying, okay, I have a business, but I do everything basically under my name, but I just haven't.
Right.
Gotcha.
You're the body of that business.
Gotcha.
That business is not an autonomous body like an incorporated one is.
Gotcha. All right. It includes, annual fees to regulatory boards, legal fees for assistance in maintaining the corporation, ongoing costs for financial reports, accounting, and federal and local tax filings, expenses to hold annual shareholder meetings. Organizing a shareholder meeting could turn out to be more expensive than you think, particularly because you'll need to mail out invites and other relevant documents. These documents may include financial records and reports on the activities of the business, and an unincorporated business owner can usually avoid such expenses. Common costs may include occasional legal assistance, professional tax filing assistance. Taxes. When filing taxes, owners of an unincorporated business must report any profits or losses on their own tax returns because the business has no independent